Hey everybody, Joe McCall here in my backyard. It's a gorgeous day today, and I just wanted to do another video here and answer a simple question that somebody has about. Well, the question here is she says, I've been running into another issue with sellers. Many seem to be asking for the option deposit for their own coffers. In other words, they want to keep the entire option deposit. And many have suggested that 3 or 5% clearly is not enough. One person actually said, bring me a real buyer, and he wants 10% down for himself. I've explained that 3% would work for an FHA loan at closing, and there would be no reason to require more, but that hasn't gone over too well. Any thoughts on how to handle this conversation? I could really use to lock a few houses down. Well, first of all, you got to remember that if they're not ready to do a deal, if they're not motivated, you need to find that out pretty quickly and just get off the phone. So it's normal to get objections like that. So just keep in mind that that's okay. Just get off the phone. If they're not ready to do a deal, it's totally fine. We've been doing this webinar lately the last couple weeks. We got 2 more weeks to go with Claude Diamond on the gut sales method, and we talk very specifically about these things. So very friendly, you could say without being a jerk, hey, well, listen, it's okay if you tell me no, this may not be for you, that's totally okay. But if I can do this and this and this, what would you want to do then? And I love that question when you can say, if I can do this and this and this for you, what would be the next step? What would you want to do then? Another way you could phrase it is, look, if I could get you full retail for your house, I could get you market rents or above market rents and take care of all the maintenance and repairs of the home, and buy the property at the end of the lease option period without you having to pay any commissions. I don't know if lease purchasing would be a good fit for you, would it? Okay, see how I give the what if, the benefits, just in a few words. And then, well, if we could do that for you, that wouldn't be a good fit for you, would it? Just something that I use a lot, and I know Claude Diamond uses a lot, and I've learned a lot from him about that. But the point is, you're kind of negative phrasing. You're doing redirection, and I don't know all of the reasons behind it, but I know it works. You can tell them, look, it's okay if you say no. This may not be for you. That's totally fine. But if I could do this, what would you want to do then? If they come back with, well, I want to keep 10% down, or I want 10% for an option deposit, or you can't keep all that much money, that's fine. You said, look, this probably isn't for you then. I got a bunch of buyers that are ready to move in on a lease option home right away, and there's just not enough room for me in it to do that kind of deal, so this probably won't work for us. No problem, no big deal. And then just politely get off the phone. You'll find a lot of times when you do that, when you don't act desperate or you don't act really bummed when they come back with those objections, you're going to get more sellers that say, oh, well, wait a minute, let's talk about this some more. The other thing you can ask people is when they start bringing things like that up is how much money they want to make, and they don't think it's right for you to make that much money. You can ask them, well, look, what are you going to pay your realtor if it's listed, or if it's been listed in the past? You could ask, well, how much were you going to pay your realtor if they were going to bring you a buyer? 6%? So let's see, on a $200,000 house, that's 12 grand, and you're objecting to me keeping 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know if that helps, but it's okay to tell the seller no. It's okay to let the seller know that they can tell you no, and but just keep it real. Don't waste your time with unmotivated sellers. You need to get to the point really quick. Find out if they want to do a deal or not, and if they don't, just get off the phone and call somebody else. It's a numbers game in many ways, and it's all about sales and marketing. So you're going to get sellers like this. It's okay. One thing I get a lot from students is they get a few of these and they get real discouraged and say, no seller wants to do lease options. Nobody wants to do these kinds of deals. And I ask them, well, how many sellers have you talked to? Oh, 5 or 10, or I've been doing this for a month and I'm not getting any interest. Well, how many have you talked to? Well, maybe 2 or 3 a day. So a total of 20 or 30. It's definitely not enough. Don't get discouraged. You're going to get more no's than you are yeses. That's totally fine. That's just the way it goes. You got to dig through a lot of dirt to get to the gold. But don't get discouraged. I mean, if everybody said yes, everybody would be doing this business and there would be nothing in it for you, right? So you've got to dig through a lot of dirt sometimes to get to the gold. But the key is use 3 to 5 minutes. You should be off the phone with the seller. You should find out if they're ready to do a deal or not. And if you get a lot of leads coming in, if you get a lot of sellers calling you, it doesn't matter if a few of them say no, or if a lot of them say no, because you got a bunch of other sellers that you can talk to that are willing to do a deal. So keep up your marketing. Keep on doing the Craigslist marketing. Keep on doing postcards and direct mail. I was just talking to a guy earlier this morning who sends out, at one time he was sending out about 1,000 postcards a week. Postcards, okay? Now, postcards don't work as good as yellow letters, but he was sending out these postcards, getting over a 10% response rate. I normally see that with the yellow letters. I normally see a 3% response rate with postcards. But this guy is doing 10% with his postcards. And direct mail works really, really well. And you send them to absentee owners with equity, and there's a ton of them out there. So, okay, I'm rambling. I hope that helps. All right, take care. Hey, I'm back here. I wanted to just add a few things to my last response. When you're talking to these sellers, you got to remember to push their pain buttons and find out really why are they selling. What are their emotional reasons that they're listing this house? They want to sell it for some reason, right? Or they're wanting to rent it for some reason. Find out what that is. If they're concerned about you making $3-5 grand, ask them how much their payments are, and ask them how long they can make payments on a vacant house. So if they're making $1,000 a month, ask them, well, how long has it been vacant, or how long has it been listed for sale? And if it's been 6 months, you can ask them a question. Wow, you've been making payments for 6 months. That's $6 grand that you've lost on that vacant house. That's got to hurt, doesn't it? You pushing the pain buttons and ask them, well, how long can you do that? How long can you keep that up? What are you going to do if you can't sell the house? Remind them of their options. What are you going to do if you can't sell the house? You could even tell them, if you feel like you're getting somewhere, remind them of their options. They could either drop the price 20-30% to sell it quickly. They could sell it with the realtor. They're probably not going to get a full price offer, so they're going to knock off 3%. You're going to get a buyer that asks you to pay all their closing costs, so knock off another 2 or 3%. The buyer's going to get a big inspection and going to come back with a list of things that you need to fix and knock off another 2%, and you're going to have to pay your realtor 6%. So how much is that, Mr. Seller? On let's see, a $200,000 house, that's about 10-15%. So you're going to be paying $20,000 to $25,000 to sell it that route. So that's an option. You can certainly do that, no problem. The other option is you could rent it. You could rent it to a tenant who's going to trash it and call you every time the faucet leaks. Or you could rent it to somebody who wants to buy it. So anyway, my point is, if they bring up objections to you making so much money, ask them how much money, remind them how much money they're losing, and remind them by asking questions to get them to come up with the answers and solutions. So, but you got to check out this Guts webinar that we're doing to Claude Diamond, because he's a master at that, and I'm learning more and more as we're going through this how to do this, becoming better at giving good phone, as he says. But I just wanted to add those couple thoughts in to this video. See you.